Hi everybody, just doing a quick test here and it looks like we're ready to go. Sorry about the multi-day delay. As you can see, we've got our judge finished, and we'll go over a couple of things that I learned with him and what we're going to do in the future. And then we're going to get just do a little bit of panel lining as we go, working on a special Talgeese model that we had. So this is your Sunday Gunpla and Chill. We've grabbed our tea and we're ready to go. So let's hit the old music. Okay, we're in it. So we have the judge. The judge is finished. Let me see if I can back it up a little bit. I am a little careful with it. Mainly because if you can see how much that side of it is. Like, that is enormous. And that's one of the few things I learned here. It's a brilliant build and just super detailed all around. The biggest fault I could find is literally with the hands and the weaponry. So the scythe is actually a three-piece weapon that isn't really in there all that together. And then you have the effects parts here, which are amazing. I actually stabbed myself in the leg and drew blood on the effects parts. They're so sharp. Amazing. But they fall apart really easily, especially the little dagger thingy here. You will have to hard tack or glue that in, and then you can also take off. There's enough to actually make two of each of these smaller weapons. This one, the effects hold pretty good, but it is very wobbly and easily falls out of the scythe itself. There was almost enough to make a second scythe, but it's missing some of the blue parts here. But the biggest problem are the hands. For this model, they decided to do a very innovative thing with the hands that just doesn't quite work. I'll pull that out. So here's the scythe. Once again, super articulated, super sharp. But for the hands themselves, all the ones have different thumbs, and the thumbs don't really lock in behind. They just kind of are set in the front, which it's great for holding, but they pop off super easily. So they have to be basically glued in. So you're going to have to glue your hands. And the same thing with holding things. So this has a huge holding problem with this heavy scythe. So to where, like, the kind of movements and expressions that they put on the box, you literally can't do and leave holding. So the hands have to be glued together, and the scythe, while great, and the weapons and stuff are amazing looking, the weapons need to be glued together as well. and like it does limit on posing. Now they do have a plastic shaft on the side, which makes the whole thing a little lighter, except like the front end of this is just super heavy, so that is going to be ultra droopy. So like the metal shaft really works, it's just really heavy. Same thing overall is that it's amazing, but it's actually too heavy for the included base, which I don't know why. Like it looks cool and that, but all these clear crystalline plastics are incredibly brittle, and like I'm being very careful here because like it's with the metal frame, it is just so heavy that it's really crushing this base. So I'm gonna take it off just so we can show the backpack. Now the main body build is pretty solid. The backpack itself is insane. This is an amazing backpack, and it's super articulated. Like everything is really tight, so it's a little difficult to just pivot around, but like there is major articulation on all the pieces, so you can really like splay it out. Like I had it in like a traditional almost Gundam Wing style with the splay, but you can do really crazy things with that display. It does weigh down the model, so like you are going to have it on a mount. There's no way to do a standing with the model. And the mounting the backpack to the main body was a little frustrating in that like it wasn't quite holding and kicking stuff off, but sanded down a little part there, and now it's easily, see, I keep knocking off the front V here as well, so I'm probably going to stick with the Gundam style V here on the front, which it just pops back on. So I may glue that back in. I do want to see if I could take the old V and do a mount here across kind of the midsection to preserve it. That would be kind of a personal mod here. Other than the hands, I did come across one issue, and that is this particular side, the side flap. In doing some of the extreme poses, side flaps generally get knocked out because you're really pushing the extremes. But like this one popped out of the frame itself and would not go back in. So like I had to actually shave it down, and then it was too loose because I shaved it down. So this one I had to literally glue into the frame. So that was the only real issue style-wise. Now, like if you look at this is not panel lined, not anything. This is straight out of the box, and the color separation and everything on it is phenomenal and gorgeous, and all the under paneling and stuff, really, like we could stop here and not do anything to it, but it did come with a full set of water slides, which I'm debating on adding those. So that would be a follow-up thing to do, is to actually put the water slide decals. It did not come with instructions for the water slide decals, so I was able to find on Reddit some people were posting up their versions of where everything goes, so we're probably going to follow one of those if we do it. If we're going to do that, then we're going to do the very light panel lining. Like this is not going to take a lot of panel lining at all. So we may do that in the future. Water slide decals are kind of my nemesis in that just doing the water setting, especially with the larger scale ones, has not been working, at least with the Bandai stuff. With the Crystal Shinanju, we try. It has very large water slides to put all the kind of Xeon stuff on there without blacking out the crystal parts, and that was not holding. Like, that needed to be sealed. So I need to go buy seal for that, but this is going to be a follow-up if we want to, is to actually panel line and do real sealed water slides. So we're going to put this little boy aside here. So this was a really great build. He's a little hard to find now. Hopefully, as the new year starts rolling in, he will be less problematic. I'm going to take off my headphones. Here. Hopefully it will be less problematic to find in the future. But that is essentially I would say that's almost a perfect grade level of stuff on a medium grade frame. That is craziness. So, like, definitely really fun build. That backpack alone was an amazing build. That was just super fun, but that took a full 8 hours just to do the backpack. So today we're going to do a little bit simpler. We're doing Talgeese, which is the standard Endless Waltz Talgeese, but this is the Flugel edition, which just means it's got wings on its stuff. So it has basically an A to H on runners, but then like we have a whole extra set of runners for the wing edition. So it's taking a full Talgeese model and like a full wing model and kind of smashing them together. So we're gonna mess with that. We also have our tea going. This time we're going bubble tea. So we're all up with that. We have our lunch/dinner for later, and I think now's a good time to just get the mood down and put on some of this non-copyright lo-fi. Actually, no, before we do that, I want to go over pens, because with this Talgeese, I'll show you where we are right now. Here, we've got the upper body here. Is we're going to do some panel lining as we go. There's a couple ways. You can do it after the fact or as you go. As you go is easier to kind of get into the grooves of, say, like this has a lot of inner ball joints and things like that. So if you do it as you go, you'll have a lot of ease with that. There are several different types of kind of liner pens. There is the kind of the fine line Sharpies like you'll find in the store. This is more of a brush pen. This is a gray, so I don't know. That comes out as a gray lines, where we also have a black, which I like to use the black when I really want like kind of more wear on there, because you can smudge it out and it looks like afterburn really easily. So if I want something to look like it's a little worn down, I'll use the black. But like with something like the Talgeese, which is very light white panels most of the thing, we're just going to use the gray. And then the third type of pen is they have kind of these flow pens, which are like painter pens. So you would just do the old shake and go, and then when you want to fill the line, you just do a little dot and it'll fill the line for you. So I have that in brown. I bought this one because we have some Messers and Xeon shock troops that we're going to do later. So that's what the brown is for. So there's 3 different ways to do it. These require a little bit of cleanup on the outside. So, but like they're super easy. You can just go dab, 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 and everything flows in. Where these, especially with finer lines, you're going to have to kind of scrub them in. And the problem with brush pens as opposed to, say, like a fine tip fiber pen is that if you like really try to force it, you're going to ruin the tip of your pen. So this is for just kind of light stroke detail. If you want to get like deep down, we're going to get like a Faber-Castell style art pen. So those are the things you can do. Also, like if you're a monster like I am, you can always run a Sharpie, but you are going to have to buff the over spillage and bleed really hard in order to get it off the plastic that you don't want. So this is last resort sort of things. So that's kind of the pens that I'm using here. And let's see, we just had a setup, so I need to check do this dual screen doohickey and see if our project window is there, because we don't plan ahead and we have 0 space. There we go. Okay. So let's do transition to the shop. Piece here. We did do first part. So we did here, we did our head, we got our arms. So now we're doing our leg units. So that's going to go up there. Going to grab our tea. We've got to stay hydrated. I am doing this because I am a bit of a weeb. I'm really doing it just because the banh mi shop like right next door here is open like 24/7. So if you want a good sandwich, and he needs it now. So like I said, we are just panel lining it here. I did do a little paint on his crest to kind of really get that shine and get a little orange under there, so it does look a little more fiery than just the straight red plastic. That's all we're doing. So, and really, this music, okay. But let's do a pop over here, just because. Okay, so. There. And for leg units, we are grabbing our C's and our buttons here. So we have our C's. Oh no, the buttons are still in the box. we go. There are stickers along the way, but we'll pull those up when we need them. This one also has water slides built in. But we will go as we go. There we go. So this is the sticker sheet. We already put in a reflector in the head unit. We may not be using a lot of these little tiny ones. We'll see where they go. Doing small dabs of red paint, or that just bleeds a lot, so we may do it with the red. We may not do it with the gray. We'll see. It also comes with this tiny, tiny, tiny spring, which I assume is for opening and closing the unit. So we will kind of check that out. Bring our boy in. Now I do have this up quite far. Let's see if I should adjust this down so you can get a little bit more detail. Here. That's pretty good. There we go. There's not really a good way to adjust the focal length here. Also, we are doing our general simultaneous stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Oh, one thing I didn't go over with the judge. So, I went through just inventory. We destroyed 3 knife blades. And we had 2 breakages. So the one breakage that we did on screen here, and then these had this is part of the long wing section on the backpack. They had these very fragile pins in here, and one just broke while adjusting. So that was something to look out for, but luckily there was so much duplication of pieces on the sprues that we could easily reopen that and replace the part. So not too bad. Only two major screw ups. This was disappointing because it added another 45 minutes on prying the wing and replacing that. But not too bad. Not too bad. So that was our casualty list. Hopefully no casualties here. So we are pulling C. We're doing both legs at once. Looks like for this one. So we're doing 18 and 19. Okay, so we got that. And one with the ball. Exciting because I think this is the first model from Gundam Wing I actually have. I never got into Wing, really. I know that's most people's kind of intro to Gundam, seeing as it was on, not sure, that's most people's intro to Gundam because it was like the big first one on Adult Swim. Really, I kind of got into Gundams earlier than that. They ran I would watch that as a little kid, and then that went away. Like, I never knew what it was, because my neighbors were into Robotech and stuff. But then Wing kind of came and left. I discovered it right at the end there, watching the horrible disaster train that is Tenchi Muyo. And then they ran a little bit of Seed right at the end of that run. And that's when I got back into Gundam Big, is the Cosmic Century stuff with Seed and Seed Destiny. Which threw me for a loop because it was sort of what I remembered, but not quite. And then when they started broadcasting 8th MST, Stardust Memories, and War in the Pocket, and all those, that's when I got back into watching the anime pretty hard. But collecting wise, I actually never really collected the so-called quote-unquote good guy troops, the Gundams. I always collected more of the Zaku's and Rick Diaz, Rick Doms, the shock troops, the Goffs. They're spelled Jeff. I always called them Jeffs, but they're Goffs. So there's our first set. Let's pull off the second set, so we can just do them all at once here. Same size. Oh yeah, I forgot to do our clip of the. Now let's get good pop. There we go. Have to do the first pop of the day. That was major. I know a lot of people do the double thing, but to me that could just be more stuff. But so now we're looking at, we got a little floppy card here. So we're looking at 22. divots there on the tray. So we can just go. Let that sit for just a couple seconds, like 5 seconds. And wipe that. Divot's all gone. So as long as you get it flush, all that white stuff just, you can never tell that they were there. So like, there are no worries if you do your clipping a little tight. Squeeze. Do it. Oh, squeeze. Okay, so I need to clean up that edge a little bit. Hope everybody had a good new year so far. 2020, 2021 have been some of the worst Marches I've had. Which, like, COVID hit Chicago early, so it actually feels like it's stuck in 2019 for a very long time. Let's see, we're pulling 15 off. And it will be really good to finally be out of this. This looks like we're working on a foot. So that's 15. Pull out the other 15. Definitely working on a foot because focus in the frame. D here, that's our traditional head cap, and then this is our little foot. So we're doing feet right now. The feet of feet. So to that end, we're bringing these in. And the most important thing, we're bringing in delicious sandwich. Because eating on camera is the most professional thing one can do. But I haven't eaten today, so we're going to do this. Oh, that's a good banh mi. The parsley and Vietnamese pork is just good sandwich. Okay, so we're pulling 6 here. Now, I get mine with head cheese in it. I know people have different relationship with that than others. But like, I don't know it's a. It seems to me it's like a Franco-German thing that was kind of imported through the horrors of colonialism that they kind of adopted and built into their own music. Okay, so let's get these bees. But, oh my gosh, it is delicious. Yeah, like the name of it is worse than what it is. It's basically pate. But that it's just something that like my grandma is literally one of those old ladies from the Black Forest, so we had a lot of those kind of like pork meats, organ meats, that sort of thing growing up. So that is the thing. But like everybody grows up differently. Everybody has different cultural customs. But that's what makes food great, because it's always a crazy mixing of all those things. Like, where are you, Food Network? Where is your trans-led food travel show? You're cowards, Script Tower. You're cowards. That's all I have to say. Yeah, most of those networks, your HGTVs, your Food Networks, they're all produced out of Georgia and Kentucky. Their products are basically two major networks. But they definitely reflect kind of the ethos of those communities when you actually take a more critical look at all that sort of programming. Okay, we are looking at D6. This is our first D, I think. Ooh, Virgin Runner. Okay. Sure, we're not gonna do these. Don't look like these are cherries. We are stuck. There we go. I was gonna say, I thought we were using these. We are horribly stuck. We are doing D8s. As you can see, our tile case is going to have a fixed hand system. Like it's pretty one piece. It's got the traditional ball joint locked in, so it doesn't move that much, but it's definitely more solid than the weird 4-piece system that the judge had. looks like we are going to pop in a toe. That little rubber section there. So we got our toes going. Got a little movement on the toe. Nothing too major. Then we get our heels. We don't have that huge crunch that we get on like the real grades here. Then I'm gonna slap on the heel. Okay, this one we are going to slide right on here. Got our good spats going. Make sure our spats are tight. Also not a big fan, since a lot of these we don't need to do paint jobs on. I'm not a big fan of just popping everything out ahead of time. And then, which we would really only do if we were priming the pieces and painting them, because you want to do like a full batch. Also, like, I really don't even have the room to, like, set them out and organize them once they're sprayed. And on their drying. So we do have some larger master grade kits, like we have a Barbados behind us, which we may do a little bit more advanced technique on, depending on how, quite frankly, how warm it is when we get to it. Because really, I think there's only one model here that I've ever painted. There's a little bit of a rush job. We need to do a little bit better job on that.
Check it out.
My Sotheby did not make it in the move, so we are going to redo the Sotheby somewhere along the way. It did not survive being packed. So that one, I think we are going to do a full, try to customize it as much as we can. Really, these for the most part, just a light panel lining, and they're pretty gorgeous. So. yeah, we're just working our way back to front here on the little pumpkins. See if we get the orientation correct here. We want that. So this is going to be a nice ball joint. I'll grab one of these. There we go. Nice and tight, and it's got some ankle going on.
Sleep Shop's answer.
Where do these go? So we got our feetsies. These are going top of our feetsies. And it looks like there's a way divot forward. Okay. So
Well,
there's
here's
a little,
Sleep Shop's answer.
a little bit. Side to side too. It's got some. It's on a full ball, so we get a little angle with it. That's gonna be nice. That'll be good for posing. So we're going to go grab E again, and we're going to grab these toes that are falling off the. So D5. This one. Practically jumping off the runner. socks going on. This is how it kind of looks underneath. Cool. So we got some ankle work going on here. Those are, if I remember my alphabet, which I do. Looks like for the lance, actually. So we're going to be popping all of these fours off. Actually interesting that like the head pin, it's not the double pin, it's a solid state. Let's just pull that off. So the pin itself is solid, it's part of the body frame, unlike most Gundams where it's a double pin. So the pin itself moves less, but it's got this little extra rocker piece in here. Also, this one does not have the traditional eye sticker, so it's 2 layers of transparency with that reflective square behind it, so you can actually see some shine going through on the head. So that's a little bit different than usual. It's got the body rocker of, like, it has very little hip movement. This is more like hobby grade kind of waist, which you'll find. Also, like, just the shoulder construction is different with these giant ball shoulders, and it's got a double jointed arm, but it does, as you can see, the arm doesn't fully flex all the way. It does have a nice little pop on the shoulders. If you notice, the elbows have kind of a mechanical pop thing that happens, which is interesting. So there are some key differences. This is also a different grade backpack pin, so you can't just do your standard backpack pinning in. Seems to be pretty solid. So let's see, let's get our fours on here, and then I think that's a good point to where we'll start. On the blue, now is the time to pull out our blue. This is a little bit of a metallic blue, but we're going to do a quick wipe so we don't have to do the full thing. Just got to do enough to kind of cast the white part out. That cleans up that one. We're just trying to clean our cutting marks here. Okay, so that's all that we needed to do on the blue there. So as you see, we've got this little white up here and here. just come in with the hard black on the dark surfaces to really pull those lines. And then you just wipe off the excess. And we might do it a little bit on the feet, but let's see if this will show up a little bit easier on the bottom of the feet. So I find that the bottom of the feet are a good place to experiment if you're not used to lining things. Like you can go all out, and if anything looks a little smudgy or messed up, like nobody's gonna notice. It's the bottom of the foot. So see, we've got the lined toe and the unlined bottom. And then we just pull that out. See how it pops a little bit more? Once again, I need to get better camera. If you want to buy me a better camera, I hate this showing on the internet, but we're all forced to do it, aren't we? But yeah, there is a Patreon, a Ko-Fi, a GoFundMe, all linked on the Twitch page. If you should so desire. To our advantage and make it look like it's part of the structure. Like we don't need to hit this very hard to do that. So that's just panel lining the feet. So yeah, just makes the little raised edges pop more. If we really weren't getting it, we could come in with our X-Acto and very carefully kind of dig out some of those lines. But that is very carefully. That's definitely a more advanced technique for steadier hands on a steadier day. Now we're going to just come in with a brick, because we don't need a lot on the white surface. And that's all we need. You see here there's like a little raised triangle. We just kind of follow that. Wipe off the excess, and we'll probably hit it again a little more carefully. Like again, this little raised part could probably be more prominent. But we're just gonna let that sit like that for a little second. The other side. Come back, wipe her down. See, that shows up enough. That will go on the model. Here, this is shinier than usual, so I'm just gonna really go hard on the divot because take more and do like an effect on here, we would have actually sanded down our these little circle things, which are super shiny comparatively to the rest of the plastic. It's a little odd, actually. See, that didn't really take. I may come in here with our dark one just to make sure it takes. Yeah, see that with the dark one? How it's really showing up a lot better than the gray on this target gray. That pops a lot more, so that's a lesson learned. I'm going to do the dark one on the dark gray parts and the light one on the white parts and the light gray parts. Got a little smudge on the inside. Because like the telecase is not a heavy arms unit, so it's not going to face a lot of like heavy afterburner wear look. Flies around with the lance for Christ's sake. Okay. Let's do our blues while we're at it. Feet pop. So that's panel lining. Like it's just kind of following the ridges already on the model just to make it pop a little bit more. Like you can really tell on the head I just followed the ridges of that heat. So the helmet just pulled out. Looks like we're working on the legs themselves here. So let's do some leg work. So back to C here. Do do like to show off a lot of the leg mechanics. Quite a bit here, so we'll do some leg washing. For not getting this going on Friday, our usual day here. For some reason, the powers that be decided to make that the last day of the year, the day when they start tearing down the building right outside my window. Endless grinding. Probably had like a contract that they had to at least start before the next year. So they literally waited till the last day of the year to drive me insane. That's the horrible price of gentrification that we're having in this neighborhood. As soon as trans people are in the neighborhood, everybody else jumps on and tries to price us out, it seems. Okay, so we gotta find B here, because there is a very tiny pen. And we are going to use that to our advantage. So, like, the migration seems to have gone like Rogers Park to Bucktown to, I want to say, Edgewater to Logan Square, and now Uptown. So, along with like our South Side folks being run around from like Pilsen to Back of the Yards, which all these names to non-Chicagoans mean nothing, but those are kind of neighborhoods that were poorer but still accessible to transit, that like the community kind of shifts around like big groups. Like when I moved here, literally everybody also saying, oh, my friend just moved here, oh, I just moved here, the local community. So there definitely seems to be kind of migration patterns that happen. Okay, so we want to put that last on the pin. So we got a little bendy. There are definitely a lot fewer places, especially on the north side of Chicago, that are available to people that aren't obscenely rich. And what's happening is like people are taking TIF funds and grant money for development. And instead of using it for lower cost housing, they're just building they're gutting these places and turning them into larger, more expensive condos that nobody can afford. And by larger, I only mean like maybe 100 feet. 100 square feet larger, not like they're not making super extravagant condos, but they're definitely charging super extravagant prices. Okay, so now we're doing one leg at a time here. So we're going to set one of these aside because that's going to be our left leg, and now we're doing by sides. So a lot of times the radio will hear from our public officials here that, oh, there's just a low stock and low cost housing. It's like, no, the low cost housing was here. You just refuse to keep it low cost. Like there's definitely a profit incentive to reduce low cost housing. Because who needs the low cost housing? Well, poor folks, mostly Black immigrant families and queer people. Like we have one of the largest gay neighborhoods in the United States, but most, like no trans person I know and most queer people I know can't afford to live there. Like we work our asses off there, but we can't afford to live there. Which is really disappointing because, like, it's the few members of our communities that have been able to make money kind of selling us short for profits here. It's never fun. But that's political. It's only a matter of time being on Twitch to where we start doing political talk, isn't it? Anyway, need to avoid that. Okay, so that's our big joint there. I still don't know how much of this is going to be visible yet. I think I'm going to do a quick one over right before we get to here. This point seems to be where we're cladding stuff, so we'll do this row of instructions and then we'll paint and then do this row of cladding. Okay, so we're not doing from this sprue for the right leg, we're doing from this sprue. So let's see, how does this assemblage here work? Looks like we're going to grab, what, a 19? From our little pop socket here. How are we doing this? So we got some of our multicolored bits here. 8.5 is going to be, oh, it's going to be these. Okay, too. If we could have painted up the yellows here, I ended up doing that with our side, just because all the yellows on that one seemed a little bit off color to each other, so we golded those up. But like metallic is very, very distinctive on being that kind of bold, almost mustardy yellow look, the traditional Gundam yellow. So we're gonna keep it that way here. Like Hathaway's Flash people, those are very chunky boys, very large, very chunky boys. Okay, so we got a polycap in here. We're going with 20. Okay, that's doing here. Okay, this below. Sliding it inside to side, or side to side? That makes most sense. Okay, so what's our instructions are saying it in these triangle things here. So we're going to mount the bottom part of this piece first, then the top part, and then our A5. So let's see here. How does our bottom part mount? Just has a giant arrow going smack right to, I think it's like right below these pins. So we're going to mount This is where I want to be careful because I don't want to snap a pin. So we got in trouble last time. Okay. So that's mounted, and then I guess this just pins in right there. Okay, so we got a little minor piston action. This plate is going to be visible, so we're going to line that up pretty good. And this is going to slide right in. Hard to tell how much of this is going to show through, but usually if you have some sort of piston mechanism, like the edges of that are going to show through. Like we're putting together a hip. Something I very much am not. Okay, we'll do 28 and 29. I believe that's our right hip. my gosh, our hip module we will be painting. There's a lot of little lines on here. Hip joint. Good squeezy squeeze. Let's do a little clean here. Okay, so before we even put this in, we're going to hit this hard. So let's see, this has this line. As you see, like, it takes a couple strokes to get of a speed run. This is where if you're impatient and you really just want to get your aggression out, this is how you speed run a panel. So take that off. We'll go to our outline side here. And you just kind of smudge the whole way in there. See that? And we can't let it rest at all. So here, see how it's starting to get smudgy? You gotta aggressively hit that smudge. Just like super aggressive. And you gotta do it instantly. You can't let it sit there for a couple seconds. You gotta be on aggressive on the smudge, and then you get a really dark panel in one go. So it can be done, but oh my gosh, you gotta be careful. And you gotta put a lot of kind of grippy, smudgy into the work. So push comes to shove. Oh, that is good to know. I can turn that down. I am sitting far away from my mic, further away from my mic as usual, just let's turn the music down. There we go. Is that a little bit better? There's our quick touch-up. And now, let's see. Once again, camera's being... That gives us a good pop on our ankle. Let's see here. Let's get the microphone. Let's kick this up high. Ooh, reverb. Let's play with that reverb a little bit here. My big issue is I'm sitting far away from this mic here. Maybe if I pull it down a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit closer. The monitor here is not the best setup. Boop, boop. Okay, so we got this. We got our joint. We have our unfinished leggy leg here. Looks like we are doing B27 and 29. Let's pull our B's. Oh, that's great. Finally can hear. Okay, so our B's are going to have a little bit of a thing going on too. So 27, 29. Now that we got the mics turned up, let's see if we can get some good pop action. There we go. Cool, so we got some good plating here. Snip, snip indeed. If I could ever do like a good, like just pre-recorded setup, kind of want to do like an ASMR gunpla thing here, because the snip is satisfying. So this is going to be our finished leg. So let's make sure we're nice and buffed out here. Let's do a little buff. See if the buff comes through. I don't know how much that comes through on the sound. Let's do a little buff on our other piece here. Because we want our legs to be nice and shiny. You don't want little nubs on our legs. Those won't finish up nice. And Windows decides it wants to add reminders. There we go. So yeah, the model kits are just kind of all over the place. Back when there was a Toys R Us around, like you could pick them up for like $10, which is really nice. Let's do a little buff. There we go. All shiny. Okay, so let's see how this assembly works here. So we got this. Orienting it like that. Doing that like that, so sticker. There we go. Yeah, I'm using, what is this? Webcaptioner.com. So it's a nice online one. So I just have the window open in the other browser, and it comes up pretty nicely. It did take some readjustment a little bit, but very cool, kind of easy to use, and you can modify it quite a bit. Meeples? Does it? See, it does to meatballs. Yep. That's also part of kind of my Midwest kind of slur as well. So that'll always kind of be a problem. Like I definitely say crick instead of creek and things like that, but it seems to pick it up pretty good. Okay. So we are going to put, which is our back? Oh, this is our front, so we probably want to put this one on first. So we're oriented this way. Oh, it's got a little nub for us to latch into, so we're going to go latch into that. Does it give us a snap? No. But anyway, like back in the day, like when they were doing the Star Wars prequels and stuff, we would go to the Toys R Us, and these were always in the discount bin, and you could pick up just like a ton of them for not a lot of money. Yeah, we need a different word than meeple, just because like it's not a known word. Now in here, supposedly I'm allowed to program in specific words, but I haven't tried that yet, so there we go. Cool, nice tight fit. Oh, they do the wonderful thing that I love that Bandai does. They for the, it's hard to see here. We'll pull it up when we panel line this. But for the seam, they made a jagged seam, so even if it isn't tight, when you panel line it, you can use that and it'll look like it's actually supposed to be part of the structure, which is nice that they do that. So we got that, and now we got our shins. Let's do our shins here. So we are doing 11 and 12. So 11 and 12 are our shins. Let's do more popping. There we go. Got one shin. Dropped a piece there. So once again, this one we got pretty good. Don't feel a lot. There we go. There's not a lot of detail on the shin here, so I've got maybe we'll put a little bit of detail in that little crossguard section. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a lot of detail here. Left a little nubbin. Send that little nubbin down. There we go. Cool. So looks like the hole in the shin goes up front here. Just pop that in. Just a little squeezy squeeze. Back shin goes in here. Oh. Okay, so this is a little hard to tell, but like it is pressed solid, but they purposely have the bottom press all the way and leave a seam line here. So they definitely wanted this to show, which is interesting. You don't usually see that, but they wanted that seam line. And I don't know, we may take it all the way down. Because let's see, does that translate to anything with our footsies? Our footsies were here. That doesn't really translate to anything on our footsies necessarily. So we'll see if we follow this all the way down. We might do the little guard here too. Because usually there's like a spat or something that we'll have to make for our footsies. So yeah, we're doing 4 and 3 around the knees here. Okay, this one's got an undermount, so let's get close. Those are satisfying because they leave no seam line. Let's do the undermount on this one. There we go. Yeah. So this one is, I don't think we went over this. This one is a master grade kit, so it's going to have a little bit more fancy in the molding and the lines than a traditional kit. The hobby grade or HG grade kits usually don't have that much in the way of stickers or decals either. But when you get like a master grade or a real grade kit, you're going to get a lot more detail. But yeah, like the parts here are very precise. But, especially with the newer kits, if you get something that's a little older, I do have a Turn A Gundam back behind me on a stack that is from 2010. Those are going to be a little looser and a little less defined on some of the mold injections, but they're really getting the molds really, really detailed. Okay, let's get these kind of things in here. So how do we... This is where I'm going to get them. Nope. This one goes here. Okay. It's like following an IKEA kit for robots. And you want the pin right there. Okay, okay. We can do this. So, sometimes they purposely will have it snap. These are just kind of pressure, so you'll kind of feel them cozy in there. And then, there we go. That one snapped. Okay, so we've got something here. But check out that knee joint. There's a lot going on with that knee. How it separates, so that's going to be cool. There we go. It makes a nice little snap when it kicks back into place too. That's going to be fun. Okay. Now we do get a spat. We get spats. That's the funniest thing I've found with all these Gundams, is that all their shoes have little spats on them. Oh, that's the great thing about a lot of these kits. Like on perfect grades, you might need to glue, but all these Bandai kits are snap kits, so you don't need glue. Some of the parts are wobblier. I did go over Judge, which had very wobbly hands, so those you need to glue up. Some of the older kits have looser joints, so you might want to like pre-glue those. But for the most part, they're really great for getting people into modeling because you just snap and go. The entry grade kits, you don't even need snippers. You can just pop them out of their sprues and go with it. I have here Hello Kitty that we did on a previous stream. This was an entry grade kit, and all you did was pop the sprues and let her go. So very simple model. Oh, and they just all pop in. Like I'm manhandling this one right now, but they all pop in, pop together, and you've got a full model. Okay, so we got a little. And they go from very simple. The problem with a lot of Gundams is that they have these obtuse call numbers from the TV shows. So your base models, like the classic one that you'll see, is called an RX-78-2. And that's just because the when they made the original series, that's what they called it, because it was in production in 1978, and the kind of the universal century date of the models and stuff. So then they get all sorts of different weird call numbers. But the RX-78-2 is going your basic Gundam, and then you get all these, like this one's called the Talgies because it's Endless Waltz version, but like the official call number is in the series is that ridiculous nonsense. So it is definitely a barrier to entry with all these call numbers and stuff, but basically you find something that looks cool or that says that it's from a series you like, and you just kind of go with it. Yeah, these are definitely the next step up from Legos, but they do have, like I said, a line called entry grade. So if on the box it'll say EG in the top corner. Let me grab a box. So it's a little hard to see with the camera setup, but on every, let me pull this camera back a little bit so we can do this. And, ooh, special effects. Okay, so on the top of every box is going to be the grade, and usually the series that it's from. So this is our the RX-93, which is from the Char's Counterattack movie. So it's a real grade kit, RG, and then it says where it is in the series. And then it's got a bunch of nonsense in Japanese about all the details and cool stuff in the thing. But basically, you'll have the name of the model, you'll have the grade, and usually what series it's from, or what timeline it's from, because Gundams have a ridiculous variety of timelines, which, yeah, if you were watching like the Toy Galaxy series, I think Crunchyroll has a really great series on kind of like the ridiculous timelines and their overlap. So those are good ones to go out. But yeah, this is officially the London Bell Unit Amare's mobile suit. So this is from the movie Char's Counterattack. So if you pull that movie up, this is like the fancy one that he gets in the middle of the movie. But like I was saying, that little grade button will tell you kind of the level of the kit. If you want kind of traditional looking robots, entry grade is the way to go. If you want more the kind of chibi super deformed style, they actually have a full line with just like an insane amount of variety called SD. So SD for super deformed kits, and there's a huge variety there, and those are going to be the simplest kits to make, but they're all going to be in that chibi style. Oh yeah, the Death Strike is amazing. It's got a lot of pointy things, and it's actually one of the closer ones to a traditional Gundam in the Wing series. Wing is weird in that it's kind of in its own universe. There's a whole weird thing where there's Universal Century, which the kit that I just showed you is from Universal Century. These guys are Wings, so that's going to be Cosmic Century. And then there's, if you ever saw the old like 90s cartoon Mobile Fighter G, which was basically Gundam Pokemon. It's in its own century called Future Century. So it gets super ridiculous, super fast. Okay, so we got one last piece before we attach the foot. So let's do that one last piece. And then we're going to line this sucker up. Okay, so that's going to be a B15. Boop. What's really hard about getting into like watching Gundam nowadays is that the series are all over the place, just trying to find them. Like Crunchyroll has a bunch of the TV series, where Netflix has a bunch of the movies, as well as the series Unicorn Gundam. And then Funimation has some of the off series like the Unicorn Gundam movie, which isn't on Netflix, with the rest of the stuff. And it has Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta, which are kind of the follow-ups to the original series. And there's just a huge variety of dubbed versions and not dubbed versions. So it's a little hard to follow things with the way that streaming is set up. And then of course my favorite Turn A Gundam, which is actually really almost like a Ghibli film. Turn A is only on Blu-ray and DVD, like it's not streaming anywhere. So that one you gotta seek out at like a used store. But like it's one of the few with a non-white protagonist. It's kind of like a slower build as far as Gundam. This one is technically in correct century, which is a little bit of a spoiler. This tries to meld a lot of the separate timelines together into one, but like it's definitely a slower paced and less like military focused Gundams series. So that's one of my favorite. People don't necessarily like it that much because it is so different. Okay, so let's see here. You want the kind of sprouty part up there. Okay, so that's gonna cover up our lines. Oh, cool. Get a good snap. Good snap. Okay. Now I think we're ready to panel line this guy before. Okay, so I'm gonna do a full movement here to see what we're in store for. Because this is on white, we're only going to use our gray panel liner and not the not our black one. So just go in there with our brush pen. Don't have to necessarily worry about being too neat. Just make sure it's flowed all in there. So now you can see that line that I was talking about a lot more. And then we just wipe away the excess. Okay, and you can see a couple little bumps there on the edge. That's from me not sanding that down well enough. But what we can do is we can always come back with a white marker, and that'll totally disappear on us. So if you do make little mistakes like that, it's no worries. You can always come back and fix it. So once again, lined, not lined, lined, not lined. Okay, so let's get these little divots in here. So we're just gonna get all in that area, get all smudged up in there. Like I said, these are all water-based as well, or something like a Sharpie is going to be oil-based. So these are easily washable too. So we can just go whole hog on there. Now I'm told if you can't find these Gundam style markers, quick fix that's good for board gamers is your standard erasable markers work amazingly well as well. So you can go in there with an erasable marker and just go at it, and that's something that you'll just have around the house. You can just pick up at any sort of supply store. You don't have to order fancy Gundam branded products. There we go. There we go, light buff. And now we can see those little markings. That's all we really wanted to do, is just make the white part just show up just a little bit. We don't want a lot. That is a huge issue with Christmas, is they tend to take over everything, don't they? Which for me, like, I get all the holidays and birthdays and stuff all out in the same week. So it's just like 2 weeks of chaos, and then the rest of the year just chill. It's like even my partner, her birthday was on the 2nd, so we just kind of do all the things all at once. That way there's not a lot of extra planning. There we go. That joint really pops now. Oh, I love that. Love that sound. It's a good pop. So I'm kind of filling in where there's kind of joints but not really, just because I want to make sure that little popping area just shows up a little bit more. Yep, we get it all out in December, so all Capricorns and Sagittariuses. So we're all very stubborn in our ways. Let's see, I just want to make this pop a little bit more, so we're going to pull this out. Let's see if gray will work on the yellow that way. Yeah. It's just a little divot in the yellow that we want to make shine. There we go. Okay, so like this is a seam line from the model, but they do make it look like it would communicate with the rest of the thing. So let's hit this seam line too. So this is kind of optional. But we're just going to hit that so we have a little bit of symmetry from side to side. Just go in there. Then we have this little cap here. Yeah, December is a bit of a chaos month, but it's a chaos month for everybody, so it kind of works out. Okay. So looks like it runs into the spats. We may want to line the spats. I don't know how. We can make that decision in a second. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna plug straight into the chute. So let's see here. Do we want to line the spat? I don't know. I think I'm gonna do it. While I'm doing everything else, I might as well do a spat there. There we go. That just adds a little bit of a shadow to it. Okay. Although I just popped the spat off by doing that. See, this is, I popped it off, so that little shadow line, if I brush it away, it's not gonna, there we go. But no worries. So I left enough shadow there that it's not gonna. So that's just enough to pop the spat out. Cool, so we got our leg done. Not connecting yet because we don't have our skirt flaps, which are probably gonna be our last ones to do. But that's been a good 2.5 hours here. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to finish up the leg here, the left leg here tonight, and then take a little break on Monday, and Tuesday we'll be back to do the skirts and hopefully start with the wings, the flugel part that I'm super interested in here. So that's going to take the kind of royal cloak and turn it into wings, which I'm super excited about. It's a little picture from our decal. Cool. So thanks for joining me, and I hope everybody has a pleasant rest of their Sunday. Okay. Bye.